Hi, everyone. If you are listening to this podcast, that means that you are ready to implement the strategies we discuss. I would like to invite you to chat with one of our team members on a free, no obligation strategy call to see if you're a good fit for our done-for-you real estate virtual assistant services. We are not your average real estate virtual assistant. We are a high-level team with over 30 years of experience, and we have worked with hundreds of real estate agents. We also have the services that fit every area of your business. So go to talkwithkimhughes.com or click on the link below to schedule your free call today. Don't wait. We want you to get in on the action now. Welcome to the Unstoppable Real Estate Agents Podcast. I'm your host and real estate productivity expert, Kim Hughes. Join me as we focus on real strategies and implement real solutions designed for you to achieve major success in your business and life while getting you organized. Hi everybody, it's Kim Hughes, and today we're going to talk about the 5 areas where we see real estate agents struggle the most. And while we're talking about those struggles, we're going to give you some solutions as well. But I also really want you to go look at the show notes because we're going to have a whole lot more information on this. And the show notes would be something that I would maybe say print them out and use it as a guideline for yourself. And maybe if these struggles resonate with you, then maybe we can come up with something together that will help you put that behind you. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is market knowledge. So every agent is in a different market. Doesn't matter where you live. You could live one county over. You could live one town over. For example, where I live, my town was about 5,000. It's a great little town. People love living here. Everything is great. But if you go 11 miles south of us, you're going to hit one of the top school districts in the state of Texas. So it's still a small town. Matter of fact, it's a smaller town. But people are gravitating there more than they are here. So the market stats are going to be different, and they're only talking 10 miles. So when I talk about the market knowledge, this is where I want you to really tune in to what's going on in the markets that you work in. So you're going to pull up your MLS stats. Those are given out to you every month. Usually they come out around the middle of the month. Some of them come out with beautiful PDFs, and you can use those just the way they are. Other MLSs may not give you that PDF and all the bells and whistles, so you're going to have to come up with something on your own. And this is where you could go over to Canva and create something as well. So the point of this is that you really need to set aside the time when those stats come out and really look at them. And then, do you agree with them? Do you have an opinion about them? And if you do, then create a little video. Doesn't have to be a long one. Just create a little 1-minute, 2-minute video that complements the market stats. And you can use that content in so many ways. So when I say this is something that you can put on your social media, your blog, YouTube. You can e-blast it out. So, you have this one little piece of content, this little 1 or 2 minute video, and you can use it in at least 5 different ways. Okay. So sit down and think about that and utilize what the market stats are offering. And by doing that, you're putting that information in front of a whole lot of people, and that shows that you are the market leader in your community, your neighborhoods, etc. So really kind of look at that and make that a priority in your business, because this is something that agents struggle with. They're not really sure what to do with them. So these are some tips that you can use to implement immediately. So probably go back and look at June's market stats, because we're now in July, and kind of see how you can play with that. Kind of test it out and see what you can do and what kind of results you get from it. Okay, so we talked about market knowledge. Now we're going to talk about how you are onboarding your clients. So when I say onboarding, when you take on a new seller, a new buyer, maybe you work with investors, maybe you're a commercial broker, whatever area of real estate that you niche in, then you really need to have a solid system of how you're going to onboard each one of them. So of course you're going to have an onboarding checklist for a seller. You're going to have one for your buyer, because they're totally two different things, right? You want to make sure that you follow that process. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you have your listing presentation, your buyer presentation, all of those presentations really updated. And then what you say on those appointments when you're showing that presentation, you really need to make sure that you can follow through when you get back to the office and you're holding that listing agreement, or you've got that buyer agreement in your hand and you're like, oh Lord, what do I do now? Well, you need to be able to open it up. You open up your computer and look at what you have for onboarding and follow that list, whether it's you or your assistant, or maybe it's your real estate virtual assistant. Whoever is helping you with that, make sure that they are on board with you. But if you're doing it yourself, this is really an area that agents struggle with, because y'all are wearing too many hats. You need to be very focused on your business and have really good people around you that can help you implement and create and manage all these things that we're talking about. Okay, so now we've talked about onboarding. So now we're going to move on to how you market yourself. So, yes, you should have a very strong branding. You should have, your logos, your taglines, your whatever that is. Your website has to be stellar. You've heard me say this before. Your social media has to be really a good place where people can come in and say, oh, she's very consistent. They are posting the market stats. They're posting their listings. They're posting community events. They're posting things that's going on in our market. People don't care what's going on in California if you live in Arizona. Okay, so just like people in Arizona don't care what people in Dallas are doing. So you really need to focus on just your market. But let me just say this. If you live in a state where other people from other states are moving into, you really should probably look at what their markets look like. So if people are coming from, and I'm just going to hypothetically say in Texas, if you have people moving in from, say, Kansas, what part of Kansas are people coming from? And kind of look at what they're dealing with there so that you can make it more of a positive experience for them here. Maybe it's the price of homes, maybe it's the schools, maybe it's the jobs, who knows? But kind of look at that and see what's gravitating people to a particular market, okay? So that way you're kind of educated of why they're coming to you. So that's a good place to start is, get all that information, get your systems in place on how do you update your website? How do you update your blog? How do you manage your social media? What's that strategy? So that when if you're doing it all on your own, you still need to do that, but you need to have that in place. And as you're doing it, you just write it down and then you can put it together and then you can put it in your operations manual. Okay. So then the next one we're going to talk about, this is number 4, is we see agents struggling with handling their transactions. So once you go under contract to close, this is an area where we see agents who struggle. They get behind, they lose the paperwork, they forget to turn it in, they're not been compliance, they have dropped the ball, their clients are calling them asking them what's going on. The closing has now been delayed because you didn't get your paperwork to the title company. All kinds of things happen. So to me, this is the most important part of the business, okay? Because when you are working with your client who's fixing to make the biggest investment they've ever made, you need to make sure you're present. You need to make sure that you're on top of things. And this is, again, where you need to have your system in place. You need to know exactly what you're going to do once it goes under contract, all the way to the closing table. And then after it closes, you have a whole nother part of a system that you need to implement, and that is your past client. Because once that client closes, They are now a past client. So what are you going to do with that person? You need to stay nurturing. You need to stay engaged with them. You need to be that front person for everything that they need regarding the community, their real estate needs, etc. You want them calling you saying, I need an electrician. I need somebody to mow my yard. I need a dog sitter. So you need to be that person that knows everything that goes on, and you know who to recommend for every part of the community. And when you do that, that's where people start trusting you and they look up to you because you are looking out for them. So when you work on the transaction, make sure that if you're doing it yourself, that you have a really good strategy in place. Just create a checklist and put it in your Dropbox, put it in your Google Drive. I always say put it in Google. Well, you could put it in both because you can still access both from your phone, your laptop, your iPad, whatever that may be. But focus on when you have a transaction, you know that when it closes, now you have a past client, and you need to have a really strong past client strategy. That's where a lot of our clients come to us, and we help them become that referral agent because we don't want them having to go out and look for leads every day. We want them looking in their database and communicating with the people there they've already done business with. They know these people. These people have worked with them. They already know what kind of service you offer. So instead of going out chasing a lead, nurture the database, nurture those past clients. I'm not saying don't go look for new leads, but a lot of it's better to nurture your database and have that referral business than to be chasing leads and sinking money into every program everybody calls you about. Real estate has really become an open door for everybody to call you and say they've got the next best thing for you. And you need to learn how to say no. You need to look at what systems you have right now and what's working, what's not working, and get rid of them. This kind of goes into the fifth area that we see agents struggle with is the financial side. So if I'm not a good person with numbers, I'm not that person. I don't want to balance my checkbook. I don't care. I just let somebody else do it. Fortunately, my husband is very good at it. He loves it. So that's where we balance. So instead of me trying to do something I hate doing, I gave it to him. But now if you have him come to me, if you said to him, well, I need you to go market Kim Hughes and Company, he's going to look at you like you've lost your marbles. So just make sure that people that are surrounding you in your business, they enjoy what they're doing and they know how to do it really good. But with the financial side, you should be balancing every month, checking your statements, making sure that everything is flowing the way it should be, and being very organized with that so that at the end of the year, when you are having to turn everything over to the CPA, you're on top of it. You can turn it into your CPA, he can get it done, and then we're filing your taxes by April 15th, and you don't have to pay any penalties, any interest, because you had to file an extension. How rewarding would that be that you can sit down and just take 30 minutes a month and go through all your finances and look at everything, and then look at it on a quarterly, and then look at it at every 6 months. And then by the end of the year, you will be so amazed at how organized you can be. But if this is an area that you struggle with, then you need somebody that can do that for you. And, maybe it's a bookkeeper. We have a bookkeeper on staff, and she's phenomenal. She works with agents, and she has been doing this for years. This is her area of expertise. And so this could be a win-win for you if you're that agent that's struggling with this part of the business and you don't know what you're paying for, how much it is, or anything. Because what we do is we look at it at your statements and say, well, you know what, you've got 3 CRMs here. So let's eliminate one. You don't need 3, you need 1, and you need a really good one. So we save you money by doing that. I do that myself. I hate it with a passion, but my husband hands me my statement every month and says, you need to look at your business statement and see what's on there. I did that last month, and I closed over probably 4 or 5 accounts that I wasn't even using and saved myself $150 a month. So put that number in your calculator and multiply it by 12. And then you can take that money and put it in another area of your business where it will give you a return of investment. So that's what I want you to kind of start thinking about is, if you're in a market that's not as crazy as it has been in the last 2 years, I would love for you to sit down and just kind of write out, maybe the 5 areas that you struggle with. Maybe these are the 5 areas. And then kind of listen to what we're telling you and how you can create that solution, whether you create it yourself or you have someone do it for you. And maybe we come together and you schedule a call with us and we go over those 5 struggles and we try to figure out how we can help you find that solution. Because what your solution is going to be different from everybody else's. You can take their advice, you can go to those Facebook groups that you're in and talk about those struggles and see what everybody's telling you. And most of the time, though, everybody in those groups are going to tell you something different. They do something different, but they all have the same goal and the same result. It's just the steps that you take to get there. Okay, so I hope this was informative for you. Again, the show notes are going to have more information. So if you want to download those, you can certainly do that. Use it as your guide to kind of start thinking about your business. Here we are getting ready to go into, we're already in the 3rd quarter, but how are you going to finish out the year? So maybe you sit down and say, you know what? Now is the time that I really get serious about looking at my back office, and I'm going to give myself until December 1st to get everything organized, okay? Because the markets are going to change. I'm going to tell you, if you haven't listened to Brian Buffini's predictions for 2024, go listen to it. His podcast, It's a Good Life. It'll give you some really good information on what's going on and what you can look forward to and what you can get excited about. Okay. So I hope this podcast has helped you kind of think about where you really get frustrated in your business, and then hopefully some of the things that we've given you are solutions that can help you move forward. And as always, if you would like to schedule a call with us, all you have to do is click on the link in the show notes, schedule a call, and we'll talk for a little bit and see what we can do for you. And if we can't, we'll let you know that as well. So go out, have a great day, and we will see you next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.